بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Tonight we want to go over a narration in which the Prophet ﷺ informed us about some events that took place with some individuals from the previous nation. And this narration is on the authority of Suhaib radiallahu anhu, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: كان ملك في من كان قبلكم وكان له ساحر، فلما كبر قال للملك: إني قد كبرت فبعث إلي غلاما أعلمه السحر. Suhaib radiallahu anhu, he mentioned that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, there was a king amongst the people who were before you, and this king, he had a magician, he had a sorcerer, and when this sorcerer became older in age, he said to the king, I have become old, so send me a youngin so that I can teach him magic, so that I can teach him sorcery. فبعث إليه غلاما يعلمه، وكان في طريقه إذا سلك راهب، فقعد إليه وسمع كلامه فأعجبه. So the king, he sent a youngin to the sorcerer, and the sorcerer used to teach him magic, used to teach him sorcery. And on his way, he would pass by a monk, and he would sit with the monk, and he would listen to the speech of the monk, and the speech of the monk amazed him. وكان إذا أتى الساحر مر بالراهب وقعد إليه، فإذا أتى الساحر ضربه، فشكى ذلك إلى الراهب، فقال: إذا خشيت الساحر فقل حبسني أهلي، وإذا خشيت أهلك فقل حبسني الساحر. So whenever he would go to the sorcerer, he would pass by the monk, and he would sit with the monk. And then when he came to the sorcerer would punish him for coming late. So he complained to the monk about the sorcerer punishing him. So he said, when you fear the sorcerer, then say, my family help me up. And when you fear your family, say, the sorcerer help me up. فبينما هو على ذلك إذ أتى على دابة عظيمة قد حبست الناس، فقال: اليوم أعلم الساحر أفضل أم الراهب أفضل. So one day he was going about, and there was a big beast blocking the way of the people. The people cannot get by because there was a big beast blocking the road. So the youngin, he said, today I'm going to know who is better. Is the sorcerer better, or is the monk better? فأخذ حجرا فقال: اللهم إن كان أمر الراهب أحب إليك من أمر الساحر فاقتل هذه الدابة حتى يمضي الناس. فقال الغلام: اللهم إن كان أمر الراهب أحب إليك من أمر الساحر فاقتل هذه الدابة حتى يمضي الناس. فرماها فقتلها ومضى الناس. So the youngling, he said, Oh Allah, if the matter of the monk is more beloved to you than the matter of the sorcerer, then kill this beast so that the people can pass. So he threw the stone at the beast and he killed the beast, and then the people was able to pass. فأتى الراهب فأخبره فقال له الراهب أي بني أنت اليوم أفضل مني قد بلغ من أمرك ما أرى. So he told the monk what happened, and then the monk said to him, O child, you have become better than me today, and your matter has reached what I see. وَإِنَّكَ سَتُبْتَلَى فَإِنِ ابْتُلِيتَ فَلَا تَضُلَّ عَلَيَّ. He said to the youth that you're going to be tested, and when you are tested, don't direct the people to me. Don't tell the people about me. وَكَانَ الْغُلَامُ يُبْرِئُ الْأَكْمَةَ وَالْأَبْرَصَ وَيُدَاوِي النَّاسَ مِنْ سَائِرِ الْأَدْوَاءِ. So the youth, he used to cure people who were blind, and cure people who had like leprosy and stuff like that, and other sicknesses and diseases. فَسَمِعَ جَلِيسٌ لِلْمَلِكِ كَانَ قَدْ عَمِيَ فَأَتَاهُ بِهَدَايَا كَثِيرًا. So one of the people in the king's court, he heard about the boy curing people, and he himself was blind. He himself was blind, so he came to the boy with a bunch of gifts. فَقَالَ هَا هُنَا لَكَ أَجْمَعُ إِنْ أَنْتَ شَفَيْتَنِي. He said, all of this I have gathered together for you if you cure me. فَقَالَ إِنِّي لَا أَشْفِي أَحَدًا إِنَّمَا يَشْفِي اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. He said, indeed, I do not cure anyone, it is only Allah who cures. فَإِنْ آمَنْتَ بِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى دَعَوْتُ اللَّهَ فَشَفَاكَ فَآمَنَ بِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى فَشَفَاهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. So he said, if you believe in Allah, I will make dua to Allah to cure you. So the man believed in Allah, and Allah cured him. فَأَتَى الْمَلِكِ فَجَلَسَ إِلَيْهِ كَمَا كَانَ يَجْلِسُ فَقَالَ لَهُ الْمَلِكِ مَنْ رَدَّ عَلَيْكَ بَصَرَكَ. So he went back into the king's court, and he sat down like he used to sit down before when he was able to see. So the king seen him like normally as he used to be before he went blind, and he said to him, who gave you your eyesight back? قَالَ رَبِّي. He said, my Lord gave me my eyesight back. قَالَ أَوَلَكَ رَبٌّ غَيْرِي. He said, do you have a Lord other than me? قَالَ رَبِّي وَرَبُّكَ اللَّهُ. فَأَخَذَهُ فَلَمْ يَزَلْ يُعَذِّبُهُ حَتَّى دَلَّ عَلَى الْغُلَامِ. So the king took the man and started to punish him. And he started to punish him because the man said, my Lord and your Lord is Allah. When the king said, you have a Lord other than me, the man said, my Lord and your Lord is Allah. So the king started to punish the man until the man told on the boy or the youth. فَجِيءَ بِالْغُلَامِ فَقَالَ لَهُ الْمَلِكِ أي بني قد بلغ من سحرك ما تبرئ الأكمى والأبرص وتفعل. So they brought the boy in front of the king, and then the king said, O younging, O youth, or O boy, you have reached a level of sorcery to where you are curing people who are blind and curing people who have leprosy, and you're doing this and doing that. فقال إني لا أشفي أحدا إنما يشفي الله تعالى فأخذه فلم يزل يعذبه حتى دل على الراهب. So the boy said to him, indeed I do not cure anyone, it is only Allah who cures. So the king took the boy and started to punish him until the boy told on the monk. فجيء بالراهب فقيل له ارجع عن دينك فأبى فدعا بالمنشار فوضع المنشار في مفرق رأسه فشقه حتى وقع شقاه So then they brought the monk, and it was said to the monk, apostate, leave your religion. So the monk refused to leave the religion. So they placed a saw in the middle of his head, and they sawed him in half until his body fell down. ثم جيء بجليس الملك فقيل له ارجع عن دينك فأبى فوضع المنشار في مفرق رأسه فشقه به حتى وقع شقاه. And then they brought the one who was sitting in the king's court, and they said to him, apostate, leave your religion. And he refused to leave his religion. And then they put the saw in the middle of his head, and they sawed him in half. ثم جيء بالغلام فقيل له ارجع عن دينك فأبى فدفعه إلى نفر من أصحابه فقال اذهبوا به إلى جبل كذا وكذا فاصعدوا به الجبل فإذا بلغتم ذروته فإن رجع عن دينه وإلا فاطرحوه فذهبوا به فصعدوا به الجبل. So then the king, they brought the boy in front of the king, and they told the boy to irja an dinik fa'aba. They told the boy, leave your religion, and the boy refused. So the king gave him to some of his companions and said, take him to the highest part of the mountain and tell him to leave his religion. If he leaves his religion, then okay, but if not, then throw him off of the mountain. So they took him up to the mountain. فقال الغلام اللهم اكفينيهم بما شئت فرجف بهم الجبل فسقطوا. So the boy, when they took him up to the mountain, he made dua, and he said, oh Allah, save me from them, or suffice me from them as you wish or as you will. So the mountain began to shake, and then those men fell off the mountain. فَجَاءَ يَمْشِي إِلَى الْمَلِكِ. So the boy went back walking to the king. فَقَالَ لَهُ الْمَلِكِ مَا فَعَلَ أَصْحَابُكَ. So the king said, what happened to your companions? What they do? فَقَالَ كَفَانِيهِمُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. The boy said that Allah saved me from them. فَدَفَعَهُ إِلَى نَفَرٍ مِنْ أَصْحَابِهِ فَقَالَ اذْهَبُوا بِهِ فَاحْمِلُوهُ فِي قُرْقُورٍ وتوسطوا به البحر فإن رجع عن دينه وإلا فاقذفوه فذهبوا به. So the king gave him to another group of people, and he said to them, take him out to the middle of the sea on a small boat. Take him out to the middle of the sea and tell him to leave his religion. If he leaves his religion, then fine. If not, throw him into the water. So they took him. فقال الغلام اللهم اكفنيهم بما شئت فانكفأت بهم السفينة فغرقوا. So when they took him out to the middle of the sea, he made dua, oh Allah, save me from them according as you will. So Allah Azza wa Jal caused the boat to flip over on them, and they drowned. وَجَاءَ يَمْشِي إِلَى الْمَلِكِ. So then the boy went back walking to the king. فقال له الملك ما فعل أصحابك فقال كفانيهم الله. The king said, what happened to your companions that were with you? What did they do? The boy said, Allah saved me from them. قال للملك إنك لست بقاتلي حتى تفعل ما آمرك به. So then the boy, he said to the king, you will not be able to kill me until you do what I tell you to do. فقال ما هو. He said, what is it then? قال الغلام تجمع الناس في صعيد واحد وتصلبني على جذع. He said, gather the people in one plain and then tie me up to the trunk of a tree. ثم خذ سهما من كنانتي ثم ضع السهم في كبد القوس ثم قل بسم الله رب الغلام ثم ارمي. He said, tie me to the trunk of a tree, and then take an arrow from my quiver and take the arrow and put it into my bow. And before you shoot it, or let the arrow go, say, in the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy. And then let the arrow go. And that's how you'll be able to kill me. فَإِنَّكَ إِذَا فَعَلْتَ ذَلِكَ قَتَلْتَنِي فَجَمَعَ النَّاسِ فِي صَعِيدٍ وَاحِدٍ وَصَلَبَهُ عَلَى جِلْدٍ ثُمَّ أَخَذَ سَهْمًا مِنْ كِنَانَتِهِ ثُمَّ وَضَعَ السَّهْمَ فِي كبد القوس ثم قال بسم الله رب الغلام ثم رماه فوقع السهم في صدغه فوضع يده في صدغه فمات. So he did what the boy told him to do. He gathered the people in one plain and he tied the boy to the trunk of a tree. He took the arrow from the boy's quiver, put it into the bow, pulled the bow back and said, in the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy, and then he let the arrow go. And then the arrow struck the boy inside of the head, in the side. So then the boy, he put his hand upon the area where he was struck, and then he died. فَقَالَ النَّاسِ آمَنَّا بِرَبِّ الْغُلَامِ. So when the people seen this, they said, we believe in the Lord of the boy. فَأُتِيَ الْمَلِكِ فقيل له أرأيت ما كنت تحذر قد والله نزل بك حذرك. So the people went to the king and they said to him, do you see that which you were afraid of has certainly taken place by Allah? What you were afraid of has happened. Because what was the whole point of the king doing what he was doing? So that the people don't believe. So he killed the monk, he killed the one who used to sit in his court. He's trying to silence the truth so the people don't believe. So but the boy outsmarted him. So when the boy was killed in the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy, so the people, they knew that he only did this by way of Allah, the people believed. So they said, قَدْ آمَنَ النَّاسِ فَأَمَرَ بِالْأُخْدُودِ بأفواه السكك. So he ordered that the ditches be dug. He ordered that the ditches be dug. فخدت وأضرم فيها النيران. So the ditches were dug in the ground and then they were set on fire. وقال من لم يرجع عن دينه فاقحموه فيها أو قيل له اقتحم. ففعلوا حتى جاءت امرأة ومعها صبي لها فتقاعست أن تقع فيها فقال لها الغلام يا أمّا اصبري فإنك على الحق. So the people, or the king, he said, set the trenches or ablaze, and whoever does not leave his religion, throw him in it, or say that he has to enter into it. So they start putting the people into the fire, killing them. And then a woman, she came, and she had a young child with her, and she was hesitant to go, because she has a baby with her. So Allah caused the baby or the child to speak, and he said, "Oh my mother, be patient, for indeed you are upon the truth." This narration, barakallahu fikum, we ask the brothers and sisters to be patient. This narration, barakallahu fikum, is an amazing story as it relates to patience upon the truth. And that no matter what a person is facing as it relates to him or her being upon the truth, one should be patient with that which one encounters. So here we have a king who was a tyrant ruler, who had a sorcerer as his confidant. And he would use the sorcerer for his own benefits, using magic and the likes to further his tyrannical rule. But when the sorcerer became old, he told the king, "Bring me someone young so I can teach him." Oh, and this is, subhanallah bihamdi, this is a proof in itself that the sorcery is falsehood. They have all of this quote unquote magic, but they can't stop themselves from getting old and dying. You have the magic. Why don't you cure yourself from whatever sickness that you're going through? Right? You're the sorcerer. You have powers. Why your powers can't make you young again? This shows that the sorcerers are upon falsehood. And what it is, that the sorcerers, they work with the shayateen, the devils. So the devils, the jinn, they help them to do things and make it appear that the sorcerer is powerful. So he wanted someone young. Why did the sorcerer want someone young? Because the younging has a fresh mind and he's impressionable. And this is very important point here, that we must teach our youth what's correct before someone teaches them that which is wrong. We hear this, brothers? You see the sorcerer, he didn't say just bring me a man. He said send me a youth, send me a boy. Right? So that he can corrupt him from young. So if we do not protect our children, wallahi, there's going to be someone who's going to seek to corrupt the Muslim children. So it's our duty and responsibilities to teach them that which is correct. Because a young person, a young boy or youth, he memorizes faster than someone who is older. And when he memorizes, he keeps what he memorizes, different from somebody who's older. He can memorize, but then he forgets. So the youth is the prime target as it relates to teaching this evil. This is the sorcerer, that is. And then if the young individual is taught from a young age, more than likely he grows older upon that which he was raised upon from a youth. And this is why we must teach our youth from young, so that when they get older, they are accustomed to coming to the masjid, praying, fasting in Ramadan, and being righteous. Same thing with our daughters. We don't wait until our daughters get 15 years old, and then here you go, you handing them a hijab, here, put this on. You should have had your daughters putting on hijab from when they were young, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, so that they can get accustomed. You boys, be quiet in the back. This is why we talking now, because of you. We have to teach you so you can have mannerisms and discipline, so that when you get older, you're not going to still be talking in the masjid. So we teaching you from young. Stop talking in the masjid when there's class going on. Stop talking in the masjid when we are praying. Okay? When you're in school, do you talk when the teacher is teaching, or yes or no? No. Because you know they'll tell your parents. So don't come to the masjid and do that when you know you don't do that in your schools. It's very important that we educate these youth, because they will grow old upon what we taught them from when they were young, in most cases. So, as the story mentions, every time the youth will go to the sorcerer, he would pass by the monk. And this was the favor from Allah, because Allah wanted good for him. So he would pass by the monk, sit with the monk, listen to the monk. As the monk, he had some knowledge, and he would teach him that which is correct. And then he will go to the sorcerer, and then on his way back he will pass. But the sorcerer will beat him. Every time he comes, like he's late, the sorcerer will beat him. So he complained. So the monk told him, when the sorcerer goes to beat you, tell him your family kept you. And when your family goes to criticize you for coming late, say the sorcerer, he kept you. And the scholars say, Allah knows best. Allah knows best. The monk really ordered the lad to do that, even though it was a lie. Perhaps he viewed that the advantages of telling the untruths in that circumstance preponderant the demerits of telling a lie, though it may be further elaborated. Meaning that the monk looked at it as if he told that sorcerer that he was sitting with the monk, that this could lead to a greater harm. So in this situation, it was allowed for him to say what he said to avoid the greater harm. So then one day on his way, there was a beast that was in the middle of the road that prevented the people from going. So the boy, he took a stone and said, "Oh Allah," he said, "today I'm going to know who's better." Because still right now, the boy, he's learning from the monk and he's learning from the sorcerer. He said, "Oh Allah, if the matter of the monk is more beloved to you than the sorcerer, then kill this beast when I throw this stone at him." So he threw the stone and it killed the beast. So now he knew that Allah loved the sorcerer. Loved the monk, and he did not love the sorcerer, and that the sorcerer was upon falsehood. So then he went back to the monk and told the monk what took place. And the monk, he said, "Today you are better than me, for your matter has reached that which I see." But then look at this. The monk said to him, as the monkey has knowledge, he said, "You're going to be tested now. You're going to be tested." And this is what happens when people stand up for the truth. There's going to be tests. And we have to understand this, that being Muslims and being practicing Muslims, especially here in America, we're going to be tested. Our faith is going to be tested. So do not be deterred when your faith get tested on the job, when your faith get tested in the street. Know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He loves the people who pray. Allah loves the people who fast Ramadan. Allah loves the people who are righteous. So what you are doing as a practicing Muslim is something that Allah loves. So don't give up that which Allah loves in order to be accepted by the society. And a lot of times we find Muslims, they compromise their religion just so they can be accepted amongst the masses of the people. Don't compromise your deen, because your deen is your bond in your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the boy, by the permission of Allah, he began to cure people by Allah's permission, not by himself. And here, his curing of the people was something that the sorcerer was not able to do. People who were born blind, he cured them. People who had leprosy, he cured them. And this is by Allah's permission. So one of the people in the court of the king, he's blind, he went blind. He used to see and then he went blind. He went to the boy and brought him a bunch of gifts and said, "All of these gifts are for you," because they're used to dealing with the sorcerer who takes payment for his magic. So he brought gifts. "If you cure me, all of this is for you." Because that's how the sorcerers are. When you go to them, you got to pay them. This is why you don't go to sorcerers, the sahir and the kahin and the likes of these people, the palm readers and this. Don't go to these people. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that whoever asks a soothsayer a question, like you go to them and ask them a question, your prayer is not accepted for 40 days. We see these people have these tarot cards and palm readers. Don't go to those people. You even see people who say that they are Muslims, saying that they can help you and tell you what's going to happen in your future. This is kufr, major kufr. Do not go to them. You want to marry a girl, don't go to them and say, "Help you to get the girl." Or the opposite. Don't go to these people. These people deal with the shayateen. If you go to them and you ask them something, the Prophet said the prayer is not accepted for 40 days. If they tell you something and you believe them, then you have left Islam. You're not a Muslim no more. Because you believe that someone other than Allah knows the unseen. And only Allah knows the unseen. So do not go to the Qur'an. Don't go to the soothsayers and these magicians and sorcerers and palm readers and the likes. So the boy said to him, "I do not cure anyone. It is only Allah who cures. And if you believe, I will make dua to Allah to cure you." So the man believed, and the boy, he made dua and Allah cured him. And this is Tawheed. He attributed the cure to Allah. He didn't cure anyone. It was by Allah's permission that the people were cured at his hand. So when the man went back to the king, he's there normally, like he normally was prior to him going blind. So the king, we can recognize when a person can see again when he used to be blind. If we see a brother, he's walking with a stick because he's blind, then one day we just see him walking regular. So subhanAllah, what happened to your eyes? So it was like this. So the man, he said, that his Lord cured him. My Lord gave me my eyesight back. So the king said, you have a Lord other than me? He said, my Lord and your Lord is Allah. So what did he do? Because the king, he can't debate with him, because obviously he's cured. And the king didn't cure him, and the sorcerer couldn't cure him. Right? So obviously, the man's faith is stronger than that which is with the king and the sorcerer. So now with this, the king results to punishing and beating. This is the way of the people of falsehood, that when they can't debate with you, and when they don't have anything to combat the truth, they result to violence. This is a known practice amongst the people of falsehood. When they cannot subdue the truth verbally, and you can't beat the truth, because the truth is from Allah. When they realize that they cannot defeat the truth, the next thing, and just look at the history. Violence, torturing people, killing people. Look at the first Muslims in Mecca. Look what they did to Ibrahim alayhi salam, put him in the fire, trying to kill him. This is the way of the people of falsehood. When they cannot subdue the truth, they result to physical harm. So they beat the individual until he told on the boy. And they killed the man. And they brought the boy and they beat him, and then he told on the monk. They brought the monk, they told him, leave your religion. The monk said no. They put the sword in the middle of his head, cut him in half. But that's a lot of patience. That's a lot of patience. However, there's a side point. That rule no longer applies to us. Allah Azza wa Jal, from His mercy, has made it allowed for the Muslims in times of duress to deny that they are Muslims. But the heart has to be firm with faith. Like Ammar ibn Yasir. They was beating him until he cursed the Prophet, which is kufr. And then he went to the Prophet and said, they was torturing me and I cursed you. The Prophet said, Kayfa tajidu qalbak? How is your heart? He said, Mutma'in bil iman. He said, my heart is at ease with faith. He said, In aadu fu'ud. If they do that to you again, you do the same thing. So we have the allowance that if we are being tortured, we can say we are not Muslims anymore to get out of being tortured. But your heart has to be firm with faith, because they can't see in there. They can't see. So you can trick them for them to stop torturing you. But you have to, in your heart, never leave your faith. But with the previous nations, they did not have that allowance. They had to be patient. They had to go through it. So the monk was cut in half, as well as the man in the king's court was cut in half. And then the king told the boy to apostate. He refused. Take him to the mountain and throw him off if he doesn't apostate. The boy made dua. Look how powerful dua is. Oh Allah, save me from them however you will. Allah made the mountain shake. They fell off, not the boy. The boy came back. Look at his bravery. He could have ran and went somewhere and hid. He went back because it's about the truth. He sacrificed himself for the truth. He went back. What happened to the men that were with you? Allah saved me from them. Put him on a boat, take him to the middle of the sea, throw him in the water, drown him if he doesn't apostate. He makes dua, oh Allah, save me from them. The boat flips over, they go in the water, he's saved, he goes back. He could have ran again and hid out and played dead and never was seen again. No, he goes back because he has a bigger goal than himself. Sometimes, barakallahu fikum, we have to sacrifice ourselves for the bigger goal, for the bigger attainment, and not be selfish and only think about ourselves. So the boy tell the king, you will not be able to kill me until you do what I tell you to do. You will not be able to kill me until you do what I tell you to do. He said, okay, what is it then? He said, take an arrow from my quiver, put it in the bow, but first gather the people together. So he's smart now. He wants the people to see this. Because the goal is to get Islam to reach the people. Gather the people together, take a bow or an arrow from my quiver, put it in the bow, say Bismillah Rabbil Ghulam, in the name of Allah, the Lord of the boy, and then let it go. So he gathered the people, took the arrow from his quiver, put it in the bow. Bismillah Rabbil Ghulam. See, he's so blind, all he's worrying about is killing the boy, to shut him up. But he's not looking at the bigger picture. See, he thinks that once he kills the boy, it's going to frighten the people. But the boy, he's outsmarting him. He's looking at the bigger picture. Once the people see the only way he was able to kill the boy was by mentioning the Lord of the boy, then the boy was on the truth. So he did that, shot the arrow and killed the boy, and then the people believed, all of them, except for those who were with the king. And then they told him what you was afraid of, it took place. Basically, you were outsmarted. So now look what he does again. What? Dig ditches and set them on for violence. Because he doesn't have the ability to convince them that what he is upon is the truth and that he is their Lord. So, violence. Set the ditches on fire. Whoever doesn't apostate, kill them. So, they started to put the people in the fire. And then the lady, she came and she had her child. And she was hesitant because she has a baby. And this is, of course, a mother's love for her child. And then Allah caused the baby to speak. "Oh, my mother, be patient, for indeed you are upon the truth." Last point. Shaykh Uthaymeen, he states, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah commented, because this is a striving and a struggling in the path of Allah. The entire nation believed while he lost nothing. Because he died and they all will die sooner or later. So in reality, he didn't lose out. Because you have to die one day. But now, here is the point. Shaykh Uthaymeen said, but as for the suicide bombing, some of the people do when they carry bombs to the disbelievers and detonate it, while in their minds, this is merely killing oneself, and the refuge is sought with Allah, and whoever deliberately kills himself will be in hellfire forever, as is reported in the authentic hadith. Some people use this hadith to justify suicide bombing. This is not a justification. The boy didn't kill himself, the king killed him. The Shaykh, he goes on to say, this is because such an individual only killed himself, not for any advantage of Islam if he killed himself, and then 10 others or hundreds or 200s will be killed. So, what happens, and the Shaykh is mentioning this point, a person straps on the bomb, goes on the bus and kills 20 people. What they do? Come back and kill 200. This is not the same situation with the boy and the king. So one cannot use this story as a proof for the suicide bombings. Because you are killing yourself when you detonate the bomb. The Shaykh says the people would not have accepted Islam contrary to what we have in the story about the boy. It brought about the people accepting Islam. All those present on the field became Muslims. But that 10 or 20 or 100 or 200 amongst the enemies are killed, this does not bring the people to accept Islam. Rather, it makes the people hate Islam. This is a very important point. When a suicide bomber goes in a building and blows himself up, what do people say? Islamic terrorists. Doesn't bring those people to Islam. So in fact, the enemy may become more enraged. The action may arouse his anger. He begins to launch stronger assaults against the Muslims, as we find the Jews respond against the people of Palestine. This is Shaykh Uthaymeen talking, not my words. If an individual dies from the suicide bomb attack, killing 6 or 7 others, then the Jews retaliate and kill 60 or much more. So such suicide attacks have not brought benefit to the Muslims or even those amongst whom the bomb was detonated. Hence, it is our view that these suicide attacks by people constitutes taking life without right and results in admittance into the hellfire for killing oneself. And that whoever does this, he is not a martyr. Shaykh Uthaymeen said, this is explanation of Riyadh al-Salihin, the book of patience. And this has been here for years. He said he is not a martyr. He said, however, if an individual does that out of some misunderstanding, thinking that it is allowed, we hope he will be free from sin. But that he has martyrdom written for him? No. Since he has not followed the path of martyrdom, even though he may be left off, even though that he may not be counted for the sin due to his misinterpretation. So this is some points of benefit as it relates to this narration. وسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.